Hey, what's up? This is probably the last video I ever make on Lil Tay. There's been some recent updates to the whole situation that makes me think this might be the end of the road for the internet's youngest flexer persona. I've actually been covering the whole saga of Lil Tay since 2017, so I feel like at this point I'm kind of a Lil Tay expert. The only thing I'm missing there is just a plaque on my wall for it. I'm not really sure if that's the proudest thing for me to be an expert at, but here we are. But if you don't know who Lil Tay is or need a refresher, Lil Tay is, or was, the internet's youngest flexer at only 9 years old. The character Lil Tay is played by a girl named Claire who's from Canada, and she went viral on the internet for flexing other people's stuff, being vulgar, which I guess just created shock content. She then stepped it up by starting to flex the condos that her mother was trying to sell, as her mother was a luxury real estate agent in Vancouver. Like, imagine walking into an open viewing and then you see this 9-year-old on the bed throwing prop money, saying that she made all this money from selling bricks in Atlanta.
I was 6 years old, I lived in Atlanta, and I was broke as hell. But one day I woke up, I said to myself, I ain't gonna be broke no more. So I got up and I started working hard, moving bricks, and now we be living in the hills. See that view? Y'all don't have that view, and I be holding your mama's rank. This bag cost me a Lamborghini, and I worked hard. So if y'all work hard, y'all can accomplish your dreams just like I did.
Honestly, that probably wouldn't be the worst thing that's happened in an open viewing. Fun fact, when I bought my first house, like I went and looked at a bunch of houses, as you do, and one of the houses I saw was a literal nightmare. It was listed as like a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, but when I got there was so much plywood inside because they've made like an extra 5 or 6 bedrooms by splitting the bedrooms in 2 with plywood. They also converted the entire living room into like these tiny dorm rooms with plywood, and they were, I guess, hosting aliens, but not the ET ones. So it's safe to say me and my real estate agent bounced because we didn't want to be there when I showed up. That is probably the worst open viewing experience I've ever had. But after Lil Tay flexed the apartments she didn't own, she stepped it up by flexing her mother's boss's car, which backfired dramatically.
As one of our colleagues' home on the market for sale, and she was apparently doing an open house.
David Yang was Angela Tian's boss. His red Mercedes SL 500, also used as a prop in one of the profanity-laced posts.
But I didn't realize she was filming for Instagram. If I had known, this would have been happened.
See that view? Y'all don't have that view, and I be holding your mama's rank.
The consequences for Lil Tay's mom a lot more immediate. With the writing on the wall, she resigned from her job.
So that clearly didn't go well for them, but what did they do? Did they quit? Did they pack up their bags and run? No, they packed up their bags and went straight to LA. At this point, Lil Tay wasn't even at the peak of her career. She started hanging out with Woke Vicky and a bunch of other like clout junkies, all while basically just regurgitating the same one-liner over and over again.
No, what the house is this? My house is like way bigger. Like I have 4 houses, my houses are bigger. Look at these cars, man. Like, I have better cars. I'm only 9 years old, you're like 21, but like my house is like I mean, it's lit and all, but my house is way bigger than I have way more cars than this. My cars look way better, dude.
Yeah, she was really drilling in that one-liner. It was safe to say that that was getting pretty stale at this point. But I'm by no means blaming Lil Tay for this. She was 9 years old at the time. I'm blaming all the people around her. But the staleness played a part in the downfall of Lil Tay, because the overall attention she got was slowly dwindling away, so they started to get more and more desperate with what they did. So some of the desperate stuff they did to get the numbers up again included an awful Good Morning America interview. Then they had the whole thing where Lil Tay showed up to a supposed street fight between Woe Vicky and Bad Baby, and she was just kind of standing there on the sidelines like, yeah, what's up? Why are you having a 9-year-old do that? Looking back at this whole situation, the internet really produces the weirdest of stuff. Then Lil Tay, who was 9 years old at the time, as you very well know, because that was basically her one-liner, they had her smoke hookah to look cool on the internet. Oh, and then they also tried to have her like pretend to smoke a carrot, or at least try to smoke a carrot. You know, just not the smartest things to film and post to the internet if you want to keep custody of your child, because apparently her biological father was racking up receipts of all of this stuff while they were doing their antics in LA. Because remember, everything she was doing in LA was under her mother's and brother's supervision. And I'm pretty sure that her brother was a minor at the time as well. So all of this is under the mother's supervision. And at the end of 2018, it seems like the father got back into the picture, because that's when the Lil Tay account suddenly started doxing the biological father and the legal office he was using. And what's interesting about this is Lil Tay's management at the time said her Instagram account had been hacked at that time. In a Verge article, it says this about the so-called hack. The Verge reached out to Hope for comment, but was subsequently contacted by Chris Jones, the promoter, who says he works with Lil Tay on her music. The account has been hacked, he tells Verge via phone. Nor I nor anyone has access to that account at the moment. Jones declined to comment on the allegations made on Instagram, reiterating that at the moment, no one has access to the Instagram account. A document from Hope obtained from The Verge addressed the Instagram's claims that the account had been taken over by her brother, Jason Tian, also a minor. So yeah, he was a minor during this time. He has either personally or encouraged others, or that word, can't pronounce it,
negligently
allowed the account to be used by third parties to conduct criminal extortion and harassment, as well as the torts of defamation and libel. Hope also says that the post has resulted in death threats and threats of bodily harm against him and members of his family. And Hope, by the way, is the last name of Lil Tay's biological father. So that's interesting to say the least. The supposed reasons for all of these Instagram posts was allegedly Lil Tay did not want to return to her father's custody, because allegedly the father has a history of not being a good father. So Claire, or Lil Tay, has really been put between a rock and a hard place. What do you do when both parents seem to not be great parents? And that leads us to where my last video left off, where we have this whole GoFundMe incident, because this whole GoFundMe was allegedly created to help Lil Tay return to her mother and brother. That's where everything doesn't quite add up, because wouldn't this be the mother's job to fund? I find it weird for the mother to do all of this stuff that got the kid taken away from her in the first place. So now the mother allegedly wants Lil Tay's audience to give her money so Lil Tay can return to the people that put money before the well-being of their own 9-year-old daughter in the first place. It really just doesn't add up. There also seems to be no trace of any court case that they were talking about. But then they say the argument or the reason that doesn't exist is because it's based in Canada and they're saying that it's private there. But I know nothing about the Canadian legal system, so I don't know if that's true or not. And now for the recent updates to the situation, which really just puts an end to the whole situation unless anything new comes out. So remember, before the whole GoFundMe account was dropped, I was DM'd by an Instagram user by the name of Swaggerman. This is an Instagram celebrity dog account, and the owner apparently had a lot to do with the behind the scenes of Lil Tay, because it seems like Lil Tay was using his cars in his house to create a lot of the content she was making. You know, because we've known this is an act for a while now. But they DM'd me way ahead of time of this whole GoFundMe launch. So clearly they knew something, or they were connected behind the scenes to, I'm assuming, Lil Tay's brother and mother. And the GoFundMe's been public for months now, and nothing has really happened. They've raised about $16,000, but they've given us no updates on the situation. So last month, I sent over a message to Swaggerman asking him, hey, is there any updates to this? Is this legitimate? And then I got this very odd response. So as you can see, May 10th, he says, we're gonna talk about everything soon. And I'm like, okay, excited to see. Then it's just radio silence for months. So I hit him back and say, any updates on the Lil Tay situation? And he responds, I'm not associate with them anymore. I don't know anything about them. They disappeared, lol. So I reached out asking if I could interview him or if I could ask him a couple more questions, and I was left on red. If Swaggerman or Lil Tay's brother or mother or anyone around that whole circle that knows any information, if you guys want to talk to me, that would be fantastic. Feel free to reach out on Instagram or Twitter because I have so many questions and that would be great.